Hello, researchers. Here we are in week 5. Wow, it's already been over a month. And we are talking about assessment. We also are working on literature reviews. We've done logic models, the simple version. We still have a more complicated version due upcoming. And we're really talking about our clients or our fictitious clients. So a couple of things that I want to point out is as you read through the articles that I've posted this week and the book chapter, ORM chapter 4 about assessment and scientific inquiry and method, I'd like you to think about, again, why we're doing such things. So the ultimate goal for everything that you're doing in client-informed research is to make sure that you're reaching your clients' goals and helping them reach their treatment goals. Now, what does this look like? A client comes into you as a clinician and they have a presenting problem. That's not necessarily the social issue that you are doing your research on. It's what they are coming in as what's concerning them. It may be that the larger social issue is PTSD, but what they come into your office with are maybe symptoms of PTSD. They're not actually naming it. It might be that they're not getting any sleep, that they're not getting their work done, that they're experiencing symptoms that might be related to anxiety. But as you meet with them and you start to do some research of your own, and I know we keep using that word for absolutely everything, but you start reading about what these symptoms are related to, then you start to develop a plan and a treatment for what they're experiencing to reduce these symptoms, to reduce their concern, whatever it is that they came in for, which was their presenting problem. Their presenting problem, let's say, was lack of sleep. Their problem is PTSD. So when you're doing your consumption of research, which is you're doing your literature review, you're reading everything about PTSD. You're reading about how it might affect certain populations more than others. You're reading about different treatments that some might be specifically appropriate for a veteran population, and there's a lot of studies on veterans with PTSD. You might actually be treating a child, and the PTSD is more related to child abuse or neglect. So you would have to then expand your literature review, expand that search to make sure that you're finding appropriate treatments for that particular population within that larger social problem. So then how do you actually find out if this is working for your client? Well, you do your own research. So the consumption of research in your literature review is one thing, but your own research of your client is how you're trying to monitor. So you ultimately will use different measures and tools to figure out if your client is getting better. And you will do this before the treatment, during the treatment, after the treatment, and eventually, hopefully, your client will be using their own coping skills and some of these same tools to measure their own progress once you are no longer needed. But we'll get into that later on. So I'd like you to really think about your client as just an example. Please don't get into too many details of the specific person that you have in mind. For the most part, this will be somebody that you did have as a client or that you can conceptualize as a client, and then you will make up some of these other things. But you need enough details so that you get the correct treatment for this particular type of client. And I'd like to see all of this painted out in your literature review. And ultimately, your logic model will relate to this as well. You start with, what do you have at your disposal, right? These are the inputs. You have your client, your treatment model, all of the tools available to you at your agency, everything that goes into this. Then you actually have your outputs, and they are what you're getting out of this. What you're not, are you reaching the goals, but what comes out of the treatment. And then finally you have your outcomes, and those are often divided into short-term, medium-term, long-term. And those are really, did you reach the goals? Short-term goals, middle-term goals, long-term goals. And ultimately, if you go into a larger logic model, you would have your impact. So the impact hopefully would be a complete reduction of this problem, maybe in society in general. So I hope that this clarified just a little bit. I hope that you're enjoying learning about what you feel passionate about, and I hope those things coincide, that your literature review is on a subject area that you feel passionate about, that you can conceptualize working within this issue, within this population in your future as an MSW. So please continue to send me questions. Especially if it's something that's unclear that I have put out there. And good luck on this quiz number 2, which is on ORM Chapter 4 and the articles that I've posted, Scientific Inquiry, a couple of articles or a couple of studies out of the NIH with African American men, some mention of depression and so forth. So please read everything and then engage in the discussion board as well, which is really pieces of your literature review to share with the rest of us. And keep engaging with your classmates. Make sure it's substantive, which you've been doing a fabulous job. Thank you all. And I will see you again soon.